Network Authority for December 12th is called to order. Greetings, everybody. Happy holidays. Good to see you all. And those of us who are online joining us, thank you. Mr. Nixon, would you do us a favor and provide the roll call?
Yes. Ms. Ritter?
Here.
Chair McCollum here.
Here.
Mr. Carter? Dr. K?
Present.
Ms. Wilson? Ms. Fitzpatrick? Mr.
Present.
Beard? Mr. Hayes? Not here. Janet Days? And Mr. Wallace is here.
Yes. Present.
All right, we've got a quorum. Thank you so much.
Got a text from Cliff that he's in traffic. It's at 1 o'clock.
Okay, so Mr. Hayes is en route. Awesome. So next item on the agenda is to approve and provide any modifications if required to the agenda as presented. Mr. Nixon, are there any modifications that are requested?
Okay.
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. K. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Ritter. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. Okay, let's head to the public comment period. Are there any folks here looking to make a comment?
Sure, yeah. So we have Mr. Darrell Powell from PC for T.
Thank you, Mr. Powell, for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. How you guys doing today?
Great.
All right. Just going to take 3 minutes of your time. Thank you to Southside Network Authority for inviting me, Mr. Marcellus Nixon. My name is Darrell Powell. I'm an account manager at PCs for People. You guys have never heard of that. We are the nation's largest nonprofit e-recycling company. So we're in quite a few states, but this is our first time here opening an office in a processing center in the Commonwealth. We go around to companies and pick up retired computers that you no longer use. We refurbish them, pull the hard drives and put Microsoft and Windows 11 back in them. We're NAID certified, so data destruction is a big, and data security is a very large thing for us. And we refurbish them and redistribute them to recovering veterans and people who live in low income and underserved communities. We do a lot of community-based work with the cities throughout the nation. And we're looking to reach out to cities, municipalities here in the state of Virginia to do the same. Our price that we charge, we haven't met too many companies that can beat us in our pricing, because our price is free. Okay? We don't charge anything. We're community-based. We give you a certificate of destruction within 30 days. And I'm finding it not necessarily easy to beat out the other companies, but because we live in Hampton Roads, this is a large military town. I'm a naval veteran myself, and so this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. Lived in public housing a couple of years, 2 years, about 50 years ago, but I still am connected in that regard. So we're here and opening an office in Hampton. We're right off of Pembroke. And I met Marcellus at the Convergence Conference here about 3 weeks ago. And so we're reaching out to the cities. We feel like it's a win-win. You guys don't have to pay anything. You can save some taxpayer dollars and do a really good thing for the people living in your community, veterans, and people who live in underserved communities. So please contact us. Let us know if you'd like to work with us. We got a great big old white truck. It's huge. It's like a billboard. Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles look at it and say, man, that's a nice truck. So Helen Keller too. But anyway, so just want to let you guys know that we do exist. We feel like we can save you guys a lot of money, taxpayer dollars, and we do a good job of that. And I thank you so much for inviting me here. You guys take care. It's never too early to wish you a Merry Christmas to you and your family. God bless you, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Mr. Powell, would you mind staying for just if we have a couple of questions from authority members?
I'm going to be here the whole 2 hours.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, there
ma'am.
we go. So can I ask, I'm going to ask we've got a couple deputy city managers that are here with us. Our PCs, who's that under typically? Is that general services? Is that IT?
We have an IT department.
IT.
Our IT director's here as well.
Oh, she might want to raise her hand. Okay, good. Is that the same, Laura, for Chesapeake? Okay. Okay. I'm sure you already knew that, but I just wanted to confirm.
Knew what?
Where who owns the computers if they were to be retired?
Yeah, somebody in your sustainability or asset management divisions.
Or IT, I think
Yes,
is what I'm
ma'am.
hearing.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
great.
Mhm.
And
Do you
thank
have
you for your,
cards with you?
I do have cards.
Good.
and Mr. Crum,
If I may, so the Planning District Commission and Transportation Planning Organization, we had a whole room full of old computer equipment, right? And last year we used PCs for People. They come with my highest recommendation. It was very professional, very efficient, easy. The cost was certainly right. But it was a really great experience, and we'll be working with you again this year. It was, we had a really great experience with that.
thank you.
Maybe you could invite Mr. Powell to the next meeting.
Planet PDC meeting? That would
Because
be-
there's 17 governments there.
Yeah.
What a great program.
Yeah. Yeah, we feel like we're doing God's work. You know, we really do. There's a lot of the digital inclusion part. There's a lot of kids and families that get home. They have labs in schools, and a lot of times they have MacBooks and things of that nature. But when you get home and other people have computers, they kind of can't stay caught up. But if you don't have that at home, that's it. Even when it's looking for jobs and things of that nature, your homework, so they just falling further behind. And we are committed to doing something about that.
And so how do you redistribute?
We redistribute primarily the low income. They have to qualify, and so if you have SNAP or even get a free lunch, school lunch or something, usually you're 200% below the federal poverty level. And they'll go onto our website. We have a community impact manager, and they'll communicate with them, submit their paperwork, and then they can go online and choose what computer they want. Also, we have a location out where my office is, off of Pembroke, and when you walk into our office, they have a retail thing where you can come in and you can see what computers you want to choose. Some they are like from $0 to $150, so average $75, and then a lot of them, you know, sometimes they're free. Because you live in low income areas, it doesn't mean you need to be disrespected regarding the quality of the computers you get. So if you get a computer like Dell or whatever, you open the box, and when you open our box, it's the same thing. They're beautifully packaged with the foam and everything. That's respect. So you'll know that you're getting a quality thing. They have a 1-year warranty, and so if it don't work for some reason, the stuff that we get from the city, we only take the best for that. We have some that's not working, whatever, we might load links into it or something like that, put it on surplus, put it on eBay, and some people buy it just for parts, and sometimes we'll donate 2 free per visit to people because they're not the best, but the best of the best that we can refurbish, we give to the low income. And when I say recovering veterans, I'm a veteran. I don't qualify that, but a lot of veterans fall off the wagon. They're coming back through the VA. They have these different programs to get them back on their feet, and the last thing they have is a computer. And so we try to bless them with that, to help them get back on their feet, get back on a horse, and get it going again.
Well, if you could leave us your cards in Chesapeake and in Virginia Beach, and I don't know if Norfolk has this, or Suffolk. We have a apartment building, and Virginia Beach does, run by a nonprofit where they're formerly homeless veterans, and it's permanent housing, voucher-based. So that might be a huge benefit.
What's your name?
I'm just Debbie Ritter. quiet.
It's just.
Just,
Just. You gotta watch out for that just. Usually they're really important.
Don't everybody tell them about me.
I love that brooch.
Oh, thank you.
I know I came over from the peninsula, and so whoever's running late coming from the peninsula, those tunnels, the tunnel is like, grandma's special recipe at Christmas. After you eat it, they packed up.
Just pass it.
So, but anyway, once again, somebody handed me this to fill out, and I don't see her.
Mr. Powell, thank you for spending your time coming through the tunnel. What we are trying to do as an authority is to provide connectivity, but without the hardware, that connectivity is meaningless. So you're an important piece of the puzzle, so thank you for what you do.
Thank you. God bless you guys and have a great day.
You have a card.
Yep. Mr. Nixon, are there any other folks here available who want
This is so wonderful.
and have there been any submitted comments prior to?
And we've already had somebody.
Great. Okay, just Mrs. Ritter, please be quiet.
I can't. I can't. This is my fourth thing today. I can't.
Take the caffeine away, Laura.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding. Okay, meeting minutes. Thank you, Simone, for always presenting these. Is there, hopefully you've had time to review. Is there a motion to approve the November 3rd and November 14th meeting minutes as presented? Ms. Ritter.
We have to have a,
And then there's,
So designated
it's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes for November 3rd and November 14th, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Mr. Lyon, you're up for the construction updates.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to talk about the construction updates through November 2025. We're going to go through the timeline, production map, maps for conduit fiber, each city member's updates, and any questions at the end if you have. This is our current timeline. Still showing to be determined. That's primarily through Virginia Beach, as we just started construction efforts with our drills. This week we had a little delay with weather over the past couple of weeks, but we have started drilling. I will know more in January how the timeline will end. We want to get a good gauge of how locates are moving along, and also our production rate from Vanilla as well, so I can put a timetable on that. But it is looking good at this point. All the other city members will be completed in February at this time. Here's our dashboard. We're about 77% complete of conduit being installed, about 69% of handhold being installed, 20% of fiber being installed, and then 69% of all tracer wire being installed between the 5 member cities. Here's a production map of conduit. We are closing gaps, so we have several gaps being closed for several member cities, and we'll discuss that in a few. And also, we have started construction in Virginia Beach as well. So we anticipate this moving along pretty quickly over the next couple months, and we should see more green and red moving forward. Here's our fiber map where fiber is currently installed in the green. We haven't put additional fiber much between the last meeting, due to some gaps, and we've gotten some flag personnel from the railroads. We had to move crews around to accommodate those schedules for flagging personnel. Obviously, we don't want to miss those for railroads and important crossings. So we kind of paused on fiber for November, but we do anticipate crews coming back into market next week to continue pulling as we have completed some gaps. For the city of Chesapeake, we're going to talk about the co-bill agreement. I'll give a little history. What was that, how we got to this point, and then the next city council for Chesapeake will be January 13th of next year. We've already spoken with the city of Chesapeake. We're going to have the agreement, if it's approved today, for the MOU to be on that docket for them to review and approve as well.
It'll probably be the 27th.
27 is changed, okay.
Yep.
No problem. I'll update that. So a little history about Chesapeake Coalville and why. SNA and the city of Chesapeake both were building fiber ring segments in the same areas of Chesapeake. It's about 19 miles of that. With that Coalville agreement, it was able to save the SNA and the city of Chesapeake substantial costs in construction and permitting time for that as well. This saved the SNA over $667,000. These estimated costs were from two our former engineers, CTC, and also our current Danilo construction pricing at this time. So if you look at this, there's two red sections on this map. The northern section actually connects Suffolk from zone 7 through 8. This goes up Taylor Road onto Western Branch Boulevard that make that connection. And then the south area you see in red, that goes from Highway 58 through South Military Highway that connects Suffolk to Virginia Beach. So here's the breakdown of costs. So if the SNA was to do this by themselves, it would have cost the SNA $2.3 million. With the Coalville agreement and the cost of our share with Chesapeake is $1.7 million. And our savings from the SNA, again, is $667,000 plus dollars. So that's just a little history where we're at with the Coalville agreement. At this time, any questions, comments? All right, we'll shift over to Norfolk.
Just real quickly, you'll notice we've got a couple items ahead in the agenda. We'll be talking more about that Coalville agreement, as you referenced.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. All right, shifting over to the city of Norfolk. We're still in the downtown area. It's under construction. We have completed almost 1,500 feet of that in the conduit. Danella is currently on Freemason working through potholing and cutting sidewalks ahead of the drills to make sure we can place conduit and structures, which are handholds in the ground. There's a lot of utility congestion on that path, so it's a slow-moving, methodical process, but we got to make sure we don't hit any of the utilities along the way. There was also an update for traffic plans that the city requested. Danella has submitted that paperwork and it was approved, so we're clear with traffic control plans and moving forward downtown reload. And then the East Virginia Beach Boulevard, West Bremerton Ave, that will be completed in December. Again, weather impacted that for Danella to get started, but we anticipate that will be completed in December of this year as well. And as far as railroad, Buckingham Branch is scheduled for Monday, December 15th. So, any questions, comments? All right, for the city of Suffolk, we have one railroad left to be done, Indian Trail. About 40 minutes ago, we just got an email from them, and that has been scheduled for January 5th now, 2026. So that's the last major roadblock from a railroad perspective for rail pros. The G&W, we still have 2 left out of the 5. We have completed 3 of them in this previous month. So we have 2 left. One is a directional bore of Portsmouth Boulevard and Proctor Street, and that is scheduled for today, and crews are out completing that today. The last one is a bridge attachment on Highway 58 and Willow Road, and that's a attachment that's going to be on the bridge because it's a overpass for the railroad. We're not drilling that one. And for the Bridge Road reload, that's still scheduled for December. Aerial section, the crews were hoping to get to that last week and this week, but whether the area that we have to go, the right-of-way, is in a grassy area, and because of saturation on the grass right now, we didn't want to send a bucket truck to disturb any landscaping at this time. Any questions, comments about Suffolk? All right, so Virginia Beach, we have a total of 31 permits. We submitted all 31, and we have 30 approved for Virginia Beach. I appreciate Virginia Beach and their support of their team.
Big shout out to Deputy City Manager and Jared.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you and her team. All right, so here's our scorecard we've been showing over several months. So as you can see, we have 1 left, and that is permit V, and that is we have to wait on VDOT to review that because it's a highway passing. They have to review the underpassing, And the city is waiting on the VDOT approval, and then the city will review that at this time.
I heard that just Mrs. Ritter has a special connection to VDOT. I'm sure she could expedite that.
Okay.
Kidding me. I believe that person might be sitting directly across. Well, you know, I'm a woman. We're not good at direction. Close enough. I think
I'm sorry that,
No worries.
everybody makes fun of me. It's fine.
No.
I have a good sense of humor, I think.
Okay.
Still. But anyway, Delegate Hayes, really, we can rely on with VDOT. He sure has a lot more pull than any of the rest of us. I hope.
he's making it.
But
He's making it.
Thank you, Ms. Ritter.
we can reach him by text.
All right, thank you. So we're going to shift over to construction efforts in Virginia Beach. Currently, we have 3 drills in crews in Virginia Beach drilling. A 4th will be added by the end of this year. We anticipate 5 to 8 drills in January of 26, pending locates at this time, and also how these are being cleared at a productive rate, and also we're going to look at our production rate moving forward as well. Danella has a plan. We have a plan. Danella has the resources in place to execute our schedule up to 8, but locates will dictate that moving forward, how fast we can move in Virginia Beach. Permit Q is under construction. We have about approximately 2,000 feet of conduit in the ground already, and that's just from this week at the time. And this is from Wednesday, so we had production yesterday, and the crews are there today working in Virginia Beach. Permit R, locates are pending for that, and they're being cleared. We anticipate construction to start on Permit R next week, Monday as well. Cable crews will be in market in Virginia Beach late January 2026. As we get conduit in the ground and handhole placements, they'll come and start pulling fiber and splicing to move forward as well. All right, and just like our permit, we have a scorecard for construction and the status of it. As you can see, we're only working on 2 permits right now. As the color code represents, they're called in, waiting to be clear. One is under construction and one is pending construction, and one is under construction at this time. As we go and the last one gets approved for permit B, we'll fill that in, and we'll have a status update for our meetings and this new board meeting moving forward on our construction efforts for Virginia Beach. Any questions, comments? Okay. We'll go over to Portsmouth. So Tunnel Facility Drive permit was approved. Danella will be picking that up on Monday. And then the Midtown Tunnel VDOT, that's under review of central office and local regional team. So just want to kind of reflect on what we talked about last month in regards to VDOT. So we're requesting from the SNA some right-of-way access, the eastbound tunnel crossing on the Portsmouth side to get into the tunnel, and egress out on the Norfolk side to connect to our regional ring. In return for compensation to VDOT, SNA will provide dark fibers on the top of the RCR ring. We'll construct the VDOT facilities and meet points, tunnel maintenance, and infrastructure maintenance moving forward.
So just to confirm, tunnel maintenance means maintenance of our conduit, not of the tunnel.
So there is some existing conduit that we're going to be using in the tunnel that needs repair, and we've already planned out for that. So part of the agreement is that we're going to repair some galvanized steel in that tunnel, and then maintenance infrastructure on what we construct and going from VDOT moving forward will be in the maintenance agreement moving forward.
Thank you, and we're going to talk about this and have a vote subsequent to your report.
Okay.
Is there a reason why we're using conduit in the old tunnel instead of the new tunnel?
I do not know.
Old versus new, like that? There's only one.
Midtown, didn't we put a new?
Yeah, there's 2 tunnels. There's 2 tunnels. There's a new tunnel and an old tunnel.
Used to just be one.
So we are, conduit is on the existing side, built,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Those existing, yeah.
I just think from a maintenance perspective, the newer tunnel should be more sturdy, if you will, less maintenance.
Yeah, we're not installing new, we're utilizing
Correct.
what's there. I think is that the answer? To confirm, and there might need some Band-Aids and some improvements on what's there, but it'll be less expensive than installing brand new for the entirety of the
Correct.
tunnel. I'm looking, yeah, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I didn't know. Good question.
Any questions, comments?
Additional questions? Mr. Lyons, I just want to say thank you. And to Mr. Nixon, made a lot of progress in the recent past, and I really appreciate you guys and our partners, Danella, for being on it, and all the respective authority members, and for VDOT, for coming to the table and willing to consider where we are. So I think you should feel good about the end of the year.
Yes.
Probably before that, so
Yeah,
definitely on track to a date.
that's great. Thank
So,
you very much.
last thing, I'd like the board to consider approving the VDOT agreement as presented and issue invoices to member cities to fund the specific VDOT construction, which is part of attachment 5B for VDOT. And also the Chesapeake co-bill, consider approving the Chesapeake co-bill agreement as well, which is attachment 5C for the co-bill resolution.
So at your seats, you'll see copies at the back of the agenda that have the details of this. And with this resolution being passed, we will still be waiting for VDOT to confirm and sign, is that correct? But it gives us the authority to move forward with the specifics here.
Correct.
Do we have a dollar amount in the resolution or no?
For Chesapeake, there is.
For Chesapeake, there
I'm
is.
sorry, for the VDOT resolution?
The VDOT is what we had talked about at board meeting in regards to cost of the capital improvement fund to support the construction of VDOT. And I have the change order from Danella supporting that.
Should that be included in the resolution or?
No, I don't think so.
I believe that would be a separate motion.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. But just to confirm, that is the expectation is that approximately $100,000 would come from each of the member cities in the monies that have already been set aside to address future capital improvements.
The 500,000 that each
That's
city
right,
said.
yeah, that was set aside in 2024 that is there. So it wouldn't be new monies that would require any city council action, but monies that have already been set aside. And then when we come back for that, assuming VDOT approves that, then we'll, Mr. Locke, again, looking to you, we'll have a separate resolution or authority action that will have to be voted upon.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we anticipate VDOT, based on current conversation, we should have something back early January.
Okay. So I am looking for a motion to approve the VDOT agreement, which is attachment 5B. And second. Thank you, Dr. Kay. It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ritter, for your second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the resolution authorizing execution and delivery of an agreement with the Virginia Department of Transportation for access to limited access rights of way, please signify by saying aye. Do we need to do a roll call, or can we do a voice vote?
You can do a voice vote,
Okay.
as long as it's properly recorded, who voted
Okay.
where, and if we have, a 3-2, we may want to ask each person or something.
All those in
Maybe
favor
all.
signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It's been unanimously adopted. Okay. Now, as it relates to the Chesapeake co-build, I'm looking for a motion and a second to pass a resolution authorizing execution and delivery of an agreement to purchase certain assets, including fiber conduit rights of way and easements from the city of Chesapeake, as presented in attachment 5C. Is there a motion? Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Is there a second?
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't
Dr.
have
Kay,
much.
thank you for the second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution was passed unanimously as well. Great. Mr. Marcellus Nixon, would you please provide your update?
So not as exciting as the construction update, but I just want to say thank you again. As you guys know, we were at this VDOT agreement Midtown Tunnel situation for quite some time, so I think everyone, to include our P3 partner, GTS, would be very happy with us resolving that issue and being able to move forward with that. So, and then the Chesapeake co-build, also getting that completed, again, a huge step for us. So thank you to Mr. Lyon and the rest of the team for spearheading those efforts. So thank you. Well, I have a couple of things to talk about, Madam Chair. Not as inspirational as perhaps the construction updates, but nonetheless updates. So if you guys remember a couple of board meetings ago, we talked about a personnel and budget committee, and the goal of that committee was to develop, first of all, a policy manual. And we're in the process of developing this policy manual. We had a meeting, the last meeting was Wednesday, December 3rd. It was a virtual meeting. We've made significant progress in developing that policy manual with the help of Mr. Lockerbie in particular, and Marjorie Smith from the city of Virginia Beach, and Ms. Fitzpatrick, and also Thielen and Kelly from HRPDC. I'm really happy with where we are, so we will be trying to complete that agreement and have it ready for board approval at the January meeting. So that's where we are right now, but very happy with the progress. Any questions on the personnel policy manual? Okay. The next item is we also have an economic development committee. We've had 4 meetings of that committee since we initiated it. The last meeting was on December 7th. It was a virtual meeting as well due to weather. And it's basically to get all of the economic development directors together from all of the member cities. We also have Newport News and Hampton participating in those meetings as well. So last discussion was around competition, basically to kind of understand the challenges that some of the economic development directors are facing, and then talking about a regional technology infrastructure, what we are delivering as a part of the technology ecosystem as the SNA, and then where we're headed long term. So very well attended and lots of great discussion by the economic development directors. Any questions on that, the Economic Development Committee? Okay. On the next slide, you'll see, I know it's a little bit of an eye chart, but it's a summary of the SNA finances. I would point your attention to the far right corner, which is the remaining balance for the project of a little over $10 million. As you can see at the top part of this in the remaining section is the $1.7 million for the Chesapeake co-build. We just talked about that. And then you can see what we paid to date on the project, which is a little bit around $17 million. So that's kind of the summary. Any questions on finances?
Yeah, so I know that at some point well, first of all, we were waiting for Virginia Beach to get permits approved in the anticipation of a change order for Danella is coming. Do you have any updates as to when we can expect those dollar amounts?
Mr. Lyon?
No, we don't have any anticipated. Usually, it's going to be toward the end of the project, and we'll probably see a change order for Virginia Beach as they go through construction and also traffic planning. those costs, especially for traffic planning, is gonna add up, but we should see it closer to the end date of the project.
Hopefully that traffic planning was considered in their original bid, but I guess the point is we are expecting some sort of change order.
Yes, but I think what you're getting at, Madam Chair, is that number will not exceed what we have left in the CIP, which is
Thank
absolutely
you.
good.
That is I think that is what, at least I know from the city of Norfolk, what we're looking to hear. I imagine our other sister cities. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay. So I just wanted to put up the draft budget that we have for 2027. The 2027 meeting starting on July 1st of 2026. We were asked to put this together as a contingency, or Plan B, if you will, so that the cities could plan for it. As you can see, it's $149,000, $149,621, which is $10,000 more than what the previous year was. So just wanted to have this so that you can put this in your budget. Not saying that we would actually need these funds, but wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up so that we're not telling you in June, for example, that we need these funds or need access to them, and they haven't been planned for. Any questions on budget? Okay.
That's one thing I want to
Mr.
add.
Wells, yes.
I know we've always used the in case we need it, but we've noticed that we spend it every year. So I want to make sure that the city continue to pay whatever is requested. So be mindful of that. And as we approach budget season, make sure that the budget office know that the SNA said that, and they probably should make sure it's passed. Otherwise, they got to find money from somewhere, because I know the beach has spent it every year we have to give. So be mindful of that.
I think it's duly noted. Lots of heads nodding. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Wells.
And then the next item is master services agreement, or the request for proposal. So if you guys remember, I can refresh your memory. We're proposing asset assessments, needs assessment, and conceptual designs. So right now, we have 5 entities in queue. City of Suffolk being one of them. They currently have a proposal and an MSA. So the MSA developed by Mr. Lockerbie, reviewed by Suffolk's legal team. And then Newport News and Hampton also have the same. So the MSA, of course, would govern how the SNA and these entities perform business together. And then the proposals are for us to basically allow us to secure like an engineering firm to assist us with the work. So we will manage the work from a project management standpoint. I thought it was very important that Dr. K pointed this out in a recent meeting to talk about the cost to the municipality and what the SNA revenue would be from each one of these engagements. So one of the things that you guys have heard me talk about is one of my biggest concerns with our finances is that we only have one revenue stream. These engagements, or acting as a consultant, provides us another revenue stream in addition to what we already have planned. So $250,000 would be the cost to the municipality, and then the SNA's revenue would be $37,500 for each one of these engagements. I also have here the potential of the Norfolk Airport and perhaps New Kent County. I will see a lot more of these engagements as I continue to have conversations around the Southside, Hampton Roads, Lower Peninsula, Middle Peninsula, and Upper Peninsula. So again, we have master services agreement, and each one of the cities have proposals. So we wanted to issue an RFP, which was developed by the HRPDC. we completed the content of the proposal, and I would ask the board to approve us in issuing that RFP on Monday. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have resulting from that.
Mr. Wallace?
Yeah, I got a few. I certainly agree regarding the revenue stream, but I want to make sure if I read the contract correctly, maybe Mr. Locke, maybe it's you, but
Yes, sir.
it appears that the agreement opened the door for the SNA to consult on virtually any project for the city. Is that?
It is, that's correct, because it's a multi-year master services agreement. This would be merely one work or potential work order under that agreement.
Right. So again, I just want to make sure everybody is aware that, you know, there could be additional, beyond the 250, 150 you heard, that's going to be ongoing expenses if you decide to do that. You also talk about additional staffing, obviously to have the services built in. This staff have to be retained by the SNA. So we're going to hire staff, retain them as we do this?
I think I said that merely that if I'm not pulling the document out, but I think if I recall, I said that in the agreement was that the authority may carry out the services either through its own staff or forces or through a contractor. And that was just to make clear to everybody that we had the option to do either. And whoever, the city that we're contracting with, don't be surprised if it's a contractor rather than, you know, Mr. Nixon and Mr. Lyon carrying out 98% of the work.
So to be clear, it has to be done via engineering firm. So as much as Mr. Lyon and I would love to do this work ourselves, Mr. Wallace, we don't have the bandwidth. So that's why we are engaging engineering firms to assist us with the work. And then we would act as the project management team. We need to orchestrate how we want these done. And we know specifically, but we just don't have the cycles between the two of us to perform the work.
It's not saying we'll take on new staff. It's in fact, it's just to open up the option for us to either do it with our staff or do it with a contractor. And practically speaking, from what I'm hearing the executive director tell me as the attorney, 95% is going to be contractors.
Yeah. I understand that. I just want to make sure that, again, take a look at the bottom line for the SNA, and adding additional payroll to it is obviously one of the things that we're concerned about. And then there's also talk about insurance requirements, general liability, vehicles, all of that, which we currently don't have. I want to make sure that's going to be additional costs if that's, you go that route.
Well, so there's two things. First, we do have that insurance. But the second thing is that a lot of that is about what the insurance is that we're going to that we're going to put into our RFP. Right. I think for our actual RFP, the insurance limits are higher. And I actually had this conversation with Jay Schmidlski in Suffolk yesterday. Those are minimum amounts, but we pass that through just like you do in a Virginia Beach contract. I'm sure that you have your standard terms and conditions in your contract, and at the back it says thus and such is the amount of your insurance. That's basically a cut and paste of the minimums that we would have in a contract that we had with a third party. And we have actually much exceeding those minimums in our own insurance through our risk pool.
Mr. Wallace, I think the root of your question is just to ensure that this is a net positive and not a drag on the future.
That is correct.
And I think that that's what we've talked about that, Mr. Nixon and I have, which is, okay, if you take this work on, is it going to take you away from the primary effort of the authority? It needs to be an additive element that is a significant positive for the authority and not one that takes, diverts effort. But recognizing, because of the work that we've made, the progress we've made recently, potentially we're going to be done with this ring in the new year, and there's an opportunity to not only help our region, but also help the efforts of the SNA for further expansion. So, but I think your questions are very good, and also ones that I've also asked separately, so I appreciate you talking about that, because
Well,
we
yeah,
need to make sure.
And especially, and I know these are good initiative if you just start the ring. I think this is before myself, having that information is good. But I know most of us here, cities, we have some established mature ring. And like, for example, the beach, we've already done this about a decade ago. The inventory was done by Cox. So that's the kind of stuff that we know that depends on where you are as a city. You may or may not encounter this for this reason. I know from a city perspective, having information doesn't really help us much because we're not providing services to our end users. To me, that's a private sector thing. But again, have information to address your citizens or residents regarding what kind of fiber, that's something to know, but at the same time, we believe that $250 just to have information which have no value other side to the city, as you put in the beach. That's what I'm talking about, just the beach. That's kind of where I'm at with that, so I just want to point it out.
And if I could say something too, last month we heard that the CAOs, we all got together and thought we should just really concentrate on finishing the ring and the mission that we started before we branch out to do some other things.
So these are for efforts that haven't been undertaken yet. It's to get things moving in the process. This reasonably wouldn't even get started until March, May timeframe, if the RFP is going out in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah, so it would likely start end of February, March time.
So, I mean, the ring was supposed to be finished in the end of March, but it's now delayed.
Yeah.
But recognizing we're still in that time frame, it shouldn't be outside of the scope
No.
by any means. But,
Go ahead, Dr. King.
yes, sir.
Yes, on Suffolk in our proposal, so I mentioned last time we had the money set aside. Our money was allocated by City Council several years ago to do a fiber mapping of the city's fiber only. So either, so we may have to rescope our proposal with the SNA or go to City Council. We don't know how that's going to turn out. So the fact that we do have a proposal, it's probably currently not the same scope of what we've been allowed to spend the money on. So either way, we'll have to come back and once our RFP is done and reevaluate the statement of work that was provided.
And just to confirm, Mr. Wallace, this is optional. If any of our current cities want to participate or outside entities want to participate, that's the Airport Authority, the New Kent County. So this just gives that opportunity to have a vehicle for that. So, but I think you hear loud and clear that your authority wants to make sure that we get the ring finished and that this doesn't interfere with that. So, but I don't perceive that to be the case.
No, that's not the case. So Mr. Lyon and I come from backgrounds where we are very accustomed to working multiple work streams simultaneously. So just to concentrate on one thing for us would be quite boring. So we're used to that.
And, oh, yes, sir. Mr. Hayes.
I guess you're still wrapped up into that conversation. I'll wait until that.
Sure. Is there anything else for the executive director's report
No.
right now, Ms. Ritter?
I'll defer to.
Yes.
I just need some clarification on a couple of things. If we were to sign the agreement, what does that put us as an authority? Are we assuming ownership in any way of the locality's infrastructure? And is that?
No, this is specifically for consulting for future opportunities that would allow for us to act as the conduit to go and assume services through the RFP to do assessment of opportunities in Suffolk, Newport News, Hampton for where the fiber assessment is. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the other thing is, if we already have the agreement that as an SNA here, we know the Southside cities are part of the original agreement, how can we
So this is not to build anything. This is simply an agreement to allow us to act as the essential consultant for any entity, whether it's Suffolk to New Kent or whatever, as they assess their opportunities for future fiber builds. Last mile, middle mile. And I think the
There's no
agreement was
risk
in the
on
attachments.
us getting involved.
Excuse me?
There's no risk on us.
No.
We're making these.
Is there any risk to the authority?
There's not any risk. Right now, what we're talking about is a master services agreement. There's not any risk taking into account having a master services agreement. It merely puts us in a position where we can enter task orders to do basically assessments of the localities, which might include assessment fiber map of your own institutional fiber. It might include a fiber map of institutional fiber of the city versus major fiber from other entities. Some localities have enough wherewithal and swing in their market to be able to force their cable franchisees to give them fiber maps. Some don't. And sometimes the only way you're going to know where Cox has their large fiber bundles is by going out and looking at the telephone poles. So it's about doing the first task order that we have talked about, as I understand it, and tell me if I've got it wrong, Mr. Nixon, is that for Suffolk, Newport News, and Hampton, it would be assessments of those things, assessments of addresses that are being served, can't be served, or how they can be served, and that they believe that that will put them in a better position to figure out what their next steps are. Obviously Virginia Beach has invested in having an in-house expertise to do all of that. I know that for years your office has been doing a lot of that for Portsmouth, which is a smaller geographical area, because you have a lot of that for yourself. Suffolk has decided that perhaps they would like to have a contract with SNA in order to do that work and to use the expertise of our staff on contract to provide those insights. Rather than Dr. K having, a 12th thing on top of the 11 that he already has on his to-do list on any given day. That it's just opening up that opportunity for that. The level of involvement in entering task orders, a $250,000 task order is ultimately going to be approved by the board. I mean, it's going to come back to you before actual obligations are entered. This is about having the contractual vehicle with Suffolk, Newport News, and Hampton for us to do that work for them, and then authorizing staff to issue the RFP so that they can then get one or more contractors on a separate master services contract who we would manage as program managers to provide input that would ultimately be processed and handed over to the city. Does that make sense?
Do you know what the perspective is of the CAOs?
I haven't talked with them in a little while.
So we have talked about this with Suffolk CAO. He has referred it to Dr. K and his team. And I met with Newport News yesterday. At Hampton, their signatures on proposals should be with us any day. But first it was to be approved by the SNA board. But those particular CAOs have requested that this work be performed in their cities.
And they'll have to be adopted by them. If they don't have it already in their budget, they'll have to go to council.
Each city,
But those two
Hampton
cities.
and Newport News, has allocated the funds. We began this conversation back in April, May timeframe to reach this point.
So they haven't expressed any position on us picking up on additional,
Are you asking, I'm sorry, Mr. Hayes, let me clarify. Are you asking about the CAOs of the authority members, or are you asking about the
Yes,
CAOs of the
of the-
new members?
of the authority.
All, this was an item that was covered in each of your CAO discussions.
Yes.
It happened 2 months ago, 3 months
Yes.
ago. Ms. Fitzpatrick, did you have a? Okay,
No, I'm just listening.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
I thought there was some conversation.
In the discussions that were held with each of the CAOs and the updates, this is one of the items.
But what was the feedback from them? Not just that we have some communication.
I don't think there was any, I didn't see any concern or.
No.
There were two things in those meetings, as I understand it, relative to the peninsula, of which part of this is peninsula.
We had a further
And
discussion.
the expanding the SNA to the peninsula, the direction from the CAOs was just hold on that for now, finish the ring. But then this was another item that
Could be held.
was tangential. Yeah, that wasn't.
Could be handled
directly-
right now in anticipation of future expansion. So
I think that might be the confusion.
in doing this, when we had the CAO meeting and doing this, they said, this is great, get this work ready. So when we are ready, if we are ready, once we get this thing done, they'll be ready too. So it won't be a linear thing. There's two things can be happening concurrently.
If you want to boil it down, it seems to me this is voluntary due diligence.
Yep.
By potential future purpose. So rather than them do it, nobody's going to tie them up and make them engaging. And they may not have the staff. So that's how I see it, is
Agreed.
just a step in a process that may or may not end with more members of this organization. But, you know, as you can imagine, I know you have contacts over there also. They're very interested in how they can be involved. So I think for them, I would guess what Chris would tell us is this the most cost-effective way to do it. Is that
Yeah.
a good view?
At no risk to the authority and primes the pump for future opportunities.
And regardless, they're paying and it's voluntary.
Exactly.
Right. So if Suffolk changes, any changes will be on you all to scope and pay for, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. So we already mentioned, we're going to probably do a revision on what was presented because of, time goes on and things change a little bit, but we'll definitely, so either we can use SNA or we're going to have to go do our own RFP, I guess that's the bottom line. And this does generate some funds for SNA that Marcellus articulated is that, someone's going to get, someone's going to manage this and, so if you go to a company and do all the work that Marcellus and Warren are going to do, there's going to be some upcharges there. So it's really us leveraging this capability because we need to do something anyways.
And your decision whether it's cost effective.
Yes.
So I understand that we have to come back to us on a case-by-case basis. Is that correct?
Right, this is just an overarching agreement.
But by passing this, it also puts out the expectations that we're going to be open to doing this. And people can put in proposals, and if we're not really ready, then they kind of wasted their time too.
Well, but isn't that their decision?
That's just the nature of the marketplace. Yeah. This is just the MSA just allows us to enter into these contracts with these various entities.
We're not making
Not even
promises,
enter into a
right?
contract that we can provide these services.
We're not making promises. This is setting the scaffolding to
Yeah.
do a master services agreement with Suffolk, Newport News, and Hampton. Mr. Nixon is telling us that there may be future ones with the Norfolk Airport and with New Kent County, but we talk about that in January if either of those ever came to fruition, or maybe February, maybe March.
New Kent's gonna need it now, they have Buc-ee's.
truck in the world is nice.
Well, it's probably bigger than our announcement this morning to have a Buc-ee's.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna,
We don't do anything.
do anything at
No.
this point?
Yes,
We're gonna go into closed session first, or?
I need the board to approve us issuing the master services agreement. They may change slightly with some of the legal language based on that particular municipalities or entities review. And then to authorize the SNA to publish the RFP to secure an engineering firm to perform the work of the asset needs and conceptual design proposal.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the master services agreement framework as presented? And to allow the RFP to be let on Monday, December 15th for those services?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Ritter. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Kay. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay. And passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Do we need to go into closed session to cover a couple things? Mr. Lockaby, would you mind providing the language for the closed session, which should also allow, in addition to the authority members and their alternates, any of their staff members that they have present, and anybody who's online, and the HRPDC members?
So I know that Mr. Knight is not going to be, Mr. DeBerry, and I know Ms. Foy is
Norfolk's counsel.
Norfolk's counsel. I don't know who the telephone number is.
That's Ms. Amanda Jarrett. She had to step
Okay.
out, but she joined us.
I believe, Madam Chair, that you're asking for a closed session pursuant to Section 2.2-3711, subsection A29 of the Code of Virginia, for the purpose of discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews with bidders or offerors, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position and negotiating strategy of the authority, relating to 1, contracts to provide services under master services agreements, which I think we've actually mainly talked about that, but 2.
And voted.
And voted, yes.
Yeah.
So let's
maybe we
say,
strike that.
Yes.
we'll strike that, so due to infrastructure maintenance contracting, and procurement of a health insurance vendor. And Madam Chair, in the interest of being completely clear, also a closed session pursuant to Section 2.2-3711, subsection A1, relating to the discussion of personnel, including the terms of their contracts, relating to the health insurance benefits for the executive director and deputy executive director.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion based on that language?
May I ask?
Yes, Ms. Ritter.
So are you asking for 2, since it's different sections of 3711?
I'm at,
Or
I think,
2 motions or 1?
one motion to go in under both of those, because one of those items, if you would like to go in just to talk about infrastructure maintenance contracting, then to come out, certify, and go back in
Well,
to
that's
talk
kind of
about
a
the health
question.
insurance issue, that's up to you. I don't know what your preference is.
I recommend doing both at once.
We can do both at once.
Move to approve.
We always do them separately. Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Wilson and seconded by Ms. Ritter. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? We are now going to closed session.
Sweet.
Chair, I believe that you're looking for a motion to return to open session and to certify by a roll call vote pursuant to Section 2.2-3712 subsection D of the Code of Virginia, that to the best of each member of the board's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of the Freedom of Information Act, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed session.
Thank you very much for that language. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr.
I'm
Perry.
trying to avoid
Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Nixon, could you call the roll?
Sure. Ms. Ritter?
Yes.
Chair McCollum?
Yes.
Dr. K?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
And
Yes.
Mr. Hayes, yes.
Yes.
I didn't want to call your name, I was waiting for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We are back in open session. Coming out of that session, I would ask for a motion and a second to adjust the employment contracts for Mr. Nixon and Mr. Lyon to allow for a health insurance reimbursement rate on an annualized basis starting in January for an estimated amount of $10,300 for Mr. Nixon and $8,600 for Mr. Warren. We will confirm what those rates are at our next meeting. But in the meantime, I'd like to adjust that contract to allow for that. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? I believe that's what we needed for right now, and we'll come back and discuss the actual, if there's a budget implication in January. Is that okay? Okay.
And I will also bring back a formalized amendment to each of those contracts, increasing the cap.
Okay, great, thank you. Is there any old business?
Do you guys mind if I do
Yes.
some old business, just really quickly? See you all in a little bit. This has to deal with BEAD. I just want to give a quick update on BEAD. I know I haven't spoken with you all in a while. So some of you may know that the Department of Housing and Community Development, along with the Youngkin administration, has submitted their final proposal federally, and it was approved. So that means that the BEAD program can continue. I was in Richmond last week for a workshop talking about the pre-contract, some of the stipulations and last items that they would need. Some of which were shapefiles for design for last mile infrastructure. We've submitted those. I believe those are now going to be forwarded to our local PDC for NEPA reviews, any historical reviews in terms of construction and placement of different easements and things like that. They imagine that that process will be concluded around the June timeframe, in which case we can begin construction to these last mile locations. So with that, I just want to say that BEAD is continuing. It's moving along. I know it's been a long process, but they're making some progress here.
Mr. Hayes.
Excuse me.
With-
So,
Go ahead.
with the executive order that's come out most recently, there's talk about the threat that if any legislation regarding artificial intelligence act, if anything like that is acted on, how does that impact the BEAD funding as well?
So we are, we can only abide by what the state pushes down on us, and which really a lot of what has come down from the state are value requirements with any federal obligations kind of tacked onto it. If they decide to move in any which direction federally, the states will have to abide, and then that will roll down to us. So if there is a change in any kind of the language where we need to add additional precautions or AI security or anything like that, they will have to roll those down to us through some kind of language.
Will you let us know the locations that you intend to focus on?
Sure thing. So Spark Networks has roughly 200 locations, mostly Southside. We also have Newport News, Hampton, and Williamsburg locations, that broadband serviceable locations that we have grant funding to build out to.
Okay, but you'll, so that everyone knows.
I can do a formal presentation with exact points.
So when you say 200 locations, it's not 200 endpoints. It could be, endpoint could be an apartment building, could be a complex.
Correct. So, like I said a long time ago now, those locations, we can assume that just because they got grant funding as being unserved or underserved, that their neighborhood's probably unserved as well, or could use additional service. So that funding is for those specific locations, but once we're at that multiple dwelling unit apartment or neighborhood, we can then distribute service throughout the neighborhood.
Well, I think it would be good for us to know
Sure, absolutely.
where that focus is and hopefully fulfill the concept of the legislation.
Absolutely.
Dr.
Yeah, I would say, well, because we've been doing the Valley Argyle for a while. I mean, this is tracked by the like address. So should be like an address list for each city, specifically what was funded and tracked. And then, as you talked about the multi-dwelling units, those, you know, you can go, I mean, it might be one address, but it could be 30, 40, different residents.
Please don't give us a list of addresses like apartment A, B, C, D.
But, yeah,
In the BEAD funding, that's a requirement, but I think that if we know the general location and you have to run a line to it, if there happens to be 50 other people along the line that aren't part of the BEAD application, it will be a lot easier for you to do the.
Absolutely.
Yeah, units minus who you're serving.
So let's do that in January if possible.
That's great.
That would be great. So congratulations. I know that adds to your success for Spark. So, and our success for the Southside Network Authority as a result.
Thank you.
In service to people.
Yes, yes. So that they can use some of those PCs for people.
Yes.
Any other old business? I'm going to just take privilege. I don't know if it's old or new, but I just want to say thank you to each of you and to the many staff members who come each month. Thank you for your service to the authority and to the region. I think this is one of the best efforts that we have, showing regional cooperation. And while we are all independent and have different perspectives in terms of our priorities, the fact that we're able to come together and push this forward, and the fact that we are ending the year in a much better position than we anticipated early a couple of months ago. So thank you all. That's a very positive thing. So